You good? Super good, Ron? It says end stream. Alrighty, everyone, we are live. Can I get a motion to start the meeting? I recognize Kobe. Can I get a second? All in favor of starting the meeting? All opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty, we are now in our 17th SGA meeting for the semester. We're gonna do call to order and roll call, or whatever, for the year. Whatever. Time's safe. Don't get on me about that. Okay, Mehek, absent. Brianna, here. Elena. Here. Karen. Here. Nathan. Here. Angela. Here. Grace. Here. Nikki. Nikki's gone, yeah. Pritika. Suba. Here. Veda. Here. Talia. Here. Chinette. Chinette's downstairs. Can someone text him to come up here, please? I say, Chinette, don't eat dinner during meetings anymore. And he says, okay, I won't come to meetings anymore. Okay, G1 is absent. Obi. Here. Peter. Sophie. Here. Kobe. Here. Harvey. Present. Ireland. Here. Jenny. Oh my gosh, I lied. Rachel. Here. Raj. Here. Shalala. Here. Ryan. Here. Dalhart. Here. Jackson. Here. Jean. Here. John. Here. Kaya. Here. Nasreen. Here. Beautiful. Now that we've done call to order and roll call, we're going to move on to reports, starting with the executive board and SGA branch reports. The executive president is not here today, to my knowledge, so I will be starting. First off, good job on the retreat, you guys. That was really fun. I really hope you guys learned something and had a good time, and it was the team building thing we needed. Next week, I will probably have an SGA retreat report overview thing because it was an event that required funding that SGA members attended. If you did not attend the retreat, I will probably be messaging you on Teams. I'm literally just going to have you write like a half a page, like 1 page double-spaced, why you joined SGA, what you did last semester, what you want to do this coming semester, because that was basically the big things that we covered during the retreat. Kobe, are you taking notes of the agenda?
I have a computer.
Oh, okay. You're taking them on the actual agenda notes and not the notes section, by the way. I was like, Kobe, why are you complimenting me? Okay. Outside of that, student involvement fair went well. If you know anyone who is interested in PRDC, CMC, or one of the caucuses, we are reopening the link so we can take applications for that. The general SGA email will be going out within the next 2 weeks that has the updates on things for the semester, that kind of thing. We met with Carolyn and Calvin today for our advisor meeting. Also, there's a class presidents meeting, according to Mehek, sometime at the end of the week. You guys already know about it. So during our advisor meeting, we talked about leadership awards, which I think Carolyn will talk more about. We talked about inauguration. We just did some pros and cons of the retreat, that kind of thing. We also talked about assorted things that are happening in Baltimore, like the new ramen place that's replacing the old Peko Peko, that I'm really excited about, so you're going to hear me talk about it. I think that's all of my updates for now. I definitely had one more that I was forgetting about, but I can't remember what it was, so that's fine. I'll say it later. Executive Treasurer, take it away. Beautiful. Executive Secretary. Beautiful. That sounds great. We don't have anyone for LHAC because we have to resend it out for the semester. Moving on past that, class council reports, starting with seniors.
Yeah, seniors are just trying to figure out what's going on. We'll have updates shortly. I don't know what our events are coming up, but we're going to figure them out.
That's a good update. Alrighty, juniors.
Yeah, so we basically have outlined what events we're working on. We just sent out a welcome back email yesterday. So we're doing our Valentine's Day grand event on the 14th, and then I'm submitting purchase requests for hot chocolate and hats giveaway event thingy, and then we're working on the paintball.
Beautiful. I remembered our other update. There's a tabling event probably the 25th of this month, and you will have more information about that shortly. That's from Mahek. Moving on to sophomores.
We are still planning our garden party event. We had to scale some things back for monetary reasons, but it's looking good. And we are also working on a headshot kind of thing for all the student bodies. So updates on that as we go.
Alrighty, that sounds good. And freshmen?
Tuesday event should still be good to go. I think everything is coming together.
Heck yeah.
I know.
I'm very excited.
The big event, we may not be able to do our dream venue due to some protocols that they have, but we're still looking into that. So.
Okay, good luck with that. We're going to move on to committee of reports. So academic affairs.
So nothing too much to report yet. We met during the retreat briefly and talked about our plans for the semester, and then we'll be having our first meeting this Thursday to talk about an ADHD evaluator and also our upcoming meeting with Levi's Deans. If you have any ideas that you think should be worked on that's pertaining to academic affairs for the semester, then please let us know.
Also, we have a couple of requests for people to join certain committees that involve Q2, just engineering revamp, and a bunch of other subcommittees that aren't necessarily requiring an SG member, but can have a member of the student body. So if you're interested in any committee that is probably involving the deans and other administration, please let us know. They've asked us to kind of nominate.
Alrighty, that sounds good. Moving on to civic engagement. Go ahead, President.
So we kind of focused more on 3 main events we're going to work on throughout the semester. With Hawkins votes, we're going to hold a how to vote workshop that kind of teaches people how to vote and all the different ways you can vote. Election day is a holiday. We're working on benchmarking. Found out that Dean Wilson is going to be leaving.
Oh.
Which will be the second time.
Grace.
Is that a secret? No. Which will be the second time that a dean has left us on this project.
Clearly there's something about this project.
Yeah. And finally we have again, the running doc of JTRAP.
Beautiful. Moving on to finance. Obi.
Basically just what Karen said, we've been wrapping up spring allocations. We've also been thinking a lot about how to immerse the tide for so many groups that will be joining us. We've also been thinking about ways to make meet the student orgs as well as like our members where they are when it comes to like finance trainings and just submitting requests and things like that. And we'll go into more detail on that later on.
Alright, good. Moving on to IA, I will do the report. We were supposed to have a meeting today, but Jiwon is sick, so no meeting today. We will meet next time Jiwon is cleared to come to campus. Student orgs.
Yeah, we just did a lot of re-registrations yesterday. So we have a student org town hall that's now scheduled for Wednesday, March 2nd at 6, I believe. Otherwise, there's nothing else.
We were just talking about, in general, we just want everyone to think about what you foresee student org looking like in the future, especially how we govern them and what kind of problems that you've seen so far as your high school years of student organizations probably. And so we'll definitely be talking about that a little more in depth as the summit.
Alrighty, student services. Jenny.
Today we had our election for the chair. It was a very competitive.
That will be on the agenda. I messaged the student services chat about that. You're technically not chair yet, but yes, you will be. Nothing else? Alrighty, good. So we're going to go ahead and move on to caucus reports. Apita, take it away.
So 2 things we're working on. One is we're going to work with student orgs and API Vote, which is Asian Pacific Islander American Votes, which is an organization that helps Apita people vote and learn more. And we're also working on making more cultural holidays something that Hawkins is more aware of. Started with Lunar New Year, but looking at other religious holidays like Eid. That's it.
Alrighty, that sounds good to me. Black Caucus.
Well, it's Black History Month, so we've been pretty busy trying to stay involved with the student body and everything. I have been in contact with one of the student body members that's not a member of SBA about possibly taking out the vice chair position. According to the team chat, it looks like we will begin meeting bi-weekly, Sunday evenings, and once we have that finalized, like the specifics at either 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., we'll just make that available on Black History Friday.
Perfect. You got everything covered. Disability Caucus.
We exist now, so yay! We had our first meeting and we voted on our rules document, which will be presented in new business along with confirmations, I believe. And it was really just kind of more of a self-organization meeting. We outlined goals for the semester, some of the reasons that we all kind of exist in this place together and what we want to get done. So I'm certainly looking forward to working with the rest of the group, and our next meeting is being scheduled for the beginning of March. So if anyone wants to talk about disability stuff, now we're organized.
Sounds good. Alrighty, we're gonna move on to the WGMC.
Yeah, so we didn't get a chance to meet on Monday because of schedule conflict, so we have opened a win to meet for either this week or sometime early next week so that we can talk about our plans for the upcoming semester and start working.
Sounds good. And now we are moving off of caucus reports and onto the advisor report. Carolyn, take it away.
Yeah, I have 3 updates. So the Leadership Awards nomination process is opening tonight. You should get an email from the Hopkins Group System. I want to strongly encourage everyone in this room to nominate one of their peers, faculty, or a staff member, or all 3 that you've been in a relationship with, either this past year or in the past. SGA sponsors 8 awards during this process, so making sure that we have good nomination pool would be really great. I'm also really trying to elevate this event, so I've been calling it a blue carpet event. It's going to be super fancy. It's in April on the 20th, and it'll be a good time. So celebrate your friends. It's been a hard year for all of us, and y'all are still doing great work, so I'd love to acknowledge and nominate the folks who've been doing the work. Leadership Weekend is a big event coming up at the end of this month. So it's a 2-day event, Friday evening and most of Saturday. It's an in-depth leadership experience. It does require that you sign up. The deadline for that is tomorrow, so if you're interested in either participating as a student or being a peer navigator or a peer facilitator, please, please, please apply. It'll be a fantastic experience. It's in its 2nd year. It happens the last weekend of February. And then I'd love for everyone to save the date. So if you have your calendar in front of you, the SGA inauguration ceremony will be on Tuesday. I know this is really far in advance, but it's going to be a good time. It's on Tuesday, April 19th at 5:30. You'll get some formal invitations, but if you are planning on rerunning for SGA next year, you'll get this information. But even as an outgoing senator, so if you choose not to engage again next year, we still want to celebrate all of the great work that you've done this academic year. I think that's it.
Alrighty, and speaking a little bit more on the Leadership Awards, that was one of the things we talked about. We want to make it like an actual big thing and like hype it up. So I personally am going to submit at least 1 or 2 people for every award. And low-key, if everybody can submit like 1 person, that would be great. And we like getting awards, so you can submit yourself. You can submit anyone here or any of your friends. So please submit at least 1 thing. It really doesn't take long, and it's exciting. And you also get an excuse to dress up. I know Elena's bringing her old high school prom dress, and I will be making my dress. So hopefully we all show up and get nominated and have a good time. Moving on to new business. We're going to go through all the things here, and if we have anything to add later on, i.e. the Student Services Chair confirmation thing, we can cover that after the last item under new business. So the first thing we're going to start off with is the SGA College Town Summit Report, which you guys can pull up there. I'm not going to pull it up on the screen because I don't want to block everyone, and the link is there. So basically, the College Town Summit was something that happened not last weekend, but the weekend before that. For us, it was about a 3-hour event. I was not able to attend the whole time. I went for about 2 hours, and then I went to work. But seeing as I made the event report template, I decided I would actually do the report. Carolyn was one of the organizers with it. Basically, what it was a whole bunch of different college student governments or governing bodies coming together from across Maryland. We had representatives from a whole lot of places. I really recommend you click on the school presentations thing because there are a whole bunch of fun little informations there, such as UMBC's SGA budget is $1.1 million. So yeah, we learned a lot of good things from that. It was a really good like social event and getting ideas and talking to people and doing that kind of thing. So each group presented on a topic such as advocacy, collaboration, what SGA does for them, etc., instead of doing a general overview of the structure. So us in particular, Elena made the presentation, I presented it. We presented on a specific advocacy programs, the Pronoun initiative that y'all are familiar with. Because it covered a wide variety of SGA techniques to make impact, such as tabling events, passing resolutions, student connections, working with administration, etc. Got really good feedback from that. Use of funds, we did not use any SGA funding for this. However, there was a $25 no-show fee for people who signed up and didn't go, and they provided $10 prize things for some of the events that went on. Takeaways from our campus, we had at least one rep from the exec board and each class council except for the seniors. Shame on the seniors. In total, there was Shalala, Jackson, me, Talia, Elena, Kaya, Jean, Trinette, and Ryan all showed up. Ryan, I know you're not on this list because you didn't add yourself to the participant directory, so I'll put you here. There we go. And the participant directory is there. That's everyone who is free to be contacted. In particular, I'm going to be working with a rep from UMBC and a rep from Loyola. The rep from Loyola wants to work on cross-campus sustainability initiative. The UMBC guy just really likes Hopkins SGA and wants to see how we work. So he will be coming to one of our meetings, possibly doing a presentation. We'll see. I think it was successful. We all learned at least one thing and had some bonding with other schools. It was really interesting to see the differences between the structure, funding, and purposes across the schools, the different priorities. Micah, for example, is a self-governing body, so they don't like have an advisor or anything like that really. And then some schools really prioritized social events, some schools really prioritized student orgs, and there was a few that were similar to us in which we kind of do all of the above. We also talked about getting paid positions and that kind of thing. What will we do now? I just told you that. What will we have changed? Making it in person. I went freshman year when it was in person. If you were around and you remember Lana drove us all. We had a good time. There was food. We had like a little breakfast moment. We all dressed up. It was super nice. Also having more structured conversations to max out the efficiency of it would be nice because we had some disorganized things and a few structured ones. And then notes, I've told you the notes before. I told you at the retreat. But that's the overview of the College Town Summit. It was really good. I recommend you go next year. It's not that much time out of your day and it genuinely helped and it was kind of a fun experience. Like, I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing to do in the middle of a Saturday, but it was better than sitting alone in my room doing nothing. So, highly recommend that. I'm going to go ahead and clear out of those. The next thing on our agenda, does anybody have want a motion for a Q&A, motion for anything else, or just let this die and we'll go on to the next thing? Let it die. Got it. Finance briefing and discussion. So that's by Obi. Finance was cut off at the SGA retreat. There's going to be a brief 10 to 15 minute discussion about finance things here, which is linked. So I've done my introduction. Obi, you have 10 to 15 minutes. Take it away.
Alright, so basically we're just going to begin with a summary of what we've allocated this spring. So far we have finalized budgets for 115 groups. 3 of those groups we just asked to resubmit due to lack of specification. Usually we would just reject these groups, but it was just due to unclarity with like travel and things of that nature. We also have 2 large cultural groups that just need to resubmit based on items that we are in the capacity of fund. It's PSU and SASH, which are 2 like huge culture groups on campus, and the amount we would have allocated them based on what we are able to fund was just not going to be possible. So we discussed with Eric and Calvin and decided to advise them on things we can fund. We have about 5 groups that submitted late or just had issues with the form, and we changed the form last week to rolling submissions. So it's been reopened for them, and it will close on Friday. this Friday, 11. And as far as fall spending summary, we spent about 8,000 on, not monthly grants, on just SBA bills and funding. And we have about 13,000 left to spend on tabling SBA initiatives and things like that. For the Dean of Student Life funding that we give our RSOs, we spent about 102,000. A lot has been recalled, but we're still uncertain of what number that was. Calvin needs to go back and check in to be specific because there was some sort of issue in the system. And we had 127,000 left to spend on RSOs for the spring. As far as spring spending so far, this will be discussed later on in the agenda, but we are proposing to spend 650 on February tabling, but so far we spent 60 on Best Dress pins and 230 on the SBA banner. For the future, how finance is going to move going forward, we do have 5 groups that will now be funded under SBA. There are 3 interscholastic competition-based boards, Hop, MUN, Debate, and Mock Trial, and then 2 programming organizations, which is like the Minecraft Club and another one. And we just need to make sure, we discussed with CSO about making sure we are giving these groups as much attention as they did when they were with their fire department. And we also discussed at our meeting yesterday evening about trying to do SBA finance tutorial videos and help sessions, just because we realized how hard it is for student works to even submit purchase requests, and as well as just submit purchase requests, as well as submit like funding due to the whole campus group system. So we're just gonna try to meet people where they are. And then we also discussed just having internal guidelines and tiers, because as of now, it's kind of just, with this current group, we kind of know how much to spend for each group, and we kind of know how much to give which group, and we know that we don't fund photographers, and we just have internal things that we naturally do. And I think we need to standardize it in some sort of document that's only accessible to finance or just SBA. And then we also had a sort of mini round robin open input at yesterday evening's meeting, and some major things that were discussed is making Finance 101 and RSO 101 interactive enough, and asking if we may be able to assist with that. But the issue that we brought up that we'll later discuss with Carolyn and Calvin was just the fact that there's too many meetings to be able for SBA members to attend each and every single one. And also the fact that SBA members ourselves don't really know too much about it yet, so we can try to find some sort of link with that. There's also about making a video, link to the email and spreadsheet. Ryan also brought up just trying to get rid of the whole Excel spreadsheet as a whole, which is a stretch because we mentioned staff may not be able to handle this new thing, like just not having a spreadsheet might not be compatible with the staff system that Hopkins uses. But we will propose it about just getting rid of the spreadsheet and downloading a report based on what groups fill out underlying items. As a stopgap, Karen and I will also just be hosting help sessions in our office hours. And we also wanted to propose having SGA members volunteer for said help sessions. And then the last one was just proposing a minimum member requirement for competitions, plus 2 spares that they can use, as well as providing documentation for these competition groups that we know we're going to be spending a significantly more amount of money for than other groups. And then we also just wanted a motion for a moderate caucus and round robin, whatever you guys think, just to add some sort of input so everyone's voices can be heard as we draft these new guidelines.
Alrighty, so if anyone would like to motion for a round robin, so everyone can give input, a moderated caucus, a Q&A, whatever you'd like, now's your chance. Jackson.
Motion for a 10-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking time.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor of moving into a 10-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking times, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty, we are now in a 10-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking times. Jackson is the first speaker. Please raise your placard if you'd like to be the next on the list. You're good, Jackson.
I would like to yield my list.
Okay, would somebody else like to be on the list? You're so good at these. Go ahead, Talia.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the idea about like making like finance
good. I'm next on there. I also very much agree with the making tutorials because I kept texting Obi yesterday, just constantly trying to figure out what our budget was, how we requested more things for our budget. And a few days later, I was like, how do I do a purchase request? How do I do this? And I'm an SGA and I'm supposed to know how to use campus groups. And if I'm familiar with the platform for like surveys or virtual fair and I can't even figure it out without the help of Obi, I think like literal video tutorials that are like, click here, click that, do this. Budget request and purchase request aren't the same thing. So if you click one of them, it's a much bigger difference. So also shout out to Obi for helping me with that. I like Brian's idea of the like budget sheet spreadsheet thing because I've seen the spreadsheet and it is confusing as heck. There's a whole lot of like colors and information. I don't know a better way to do it, but I like the idea of possibly thinking of it. Like, you know, Ryan, you're next. Yeah, yield my time to Ryan.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I think just to briefly describe what we were talking about. So when you fill out the form, once you finish, it allows you to download a spreadsheet of what was filled into the form. So what we were initially considering was expanding the form a little bit and then removing the duplicate efforts in the spreadsheet by just downloading the form's results.
That sounds a lot more efficient.
Yes.
Anyone else want to be put on the speakers list? Raise a placard. If no one else would like, go ahead, Pritika.
So I had a question actually for Carolyn about RSO training and Finance 101. So who exactly, like how much control do we have over the information that's there? And is there a way that SGA can help in making that a little more comprehensible? Because having attended both trainings multiple years in a row and still being shaky on some of this stuff, I think that part of it is just the way that it's presented and the length of the session and the lack of interactiveness between everything. So how can we help in making that a little bit better?
Go ahead. You're all good.
Yeah, so the staff in the lead office create those presentations. We're always open to feedback. Juana Socorro-Aguirre is the new assistant director for student org, so she'll, moving forward, manage the training component. I will mention there have been conversations about moving away from an in-person training to doing things virtually. Administratively, it just would be easier as well. So we're open to ideas. So if you ever want to talk to myself or Juana, we'll listen and try to change things. We recognize the difficulty, and Hopkins Group is super robust, so we get it. Let's make it better.
Alrighty, Nasreen.
I just wanted to ask, like, if we were to have a virtual training on Hopkins Group, would it be like tutorial based where they show us like how to go through like as example filling out a purchase request, or would it be just kind of like a presentation?
Use your time.
Oh, I use my time.
I don't know. It could be whatever y'all want. I will say the biggest task we're trying to do in the next like 6 to 8 months is create a resource library for Hopkins Group. So I don't know if I should say this on camera, but there's another campus that uses campus groups. Oregon State, nope. I'll drop it in the teams if I remember it. And their student org's website has a lot of really great information. We're gonna try to organize something similar to what they have. Can't think of a campus. So we'll get the information to you. I don't know what training will look like.
Double your, okay. Jackson?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think that having something that like we can like constantly go back to instead of just like one like presentation or training, like just having those different resources available to you so that like, oh, if you forget how to do something or something like that, you can go back and like look at it. I just feel like that would be more useful and probably easier to centralize than having like a big like long presentation that might be just like you have to look for like a certain point in that if there's something that you want to go back and do.
Yeah, agree with that. You yield your time?
I yield my.
Rachel.
Yeah, I also agree. I really like the idea of having this tutorial and having it be like a shorter way. That way, if you like have a specific question, you can just go to that video. I had a question about the tutorial since I know we have Finance 101 and RSO 101, and even though it might change, I was wondering if the content of the tutorials are going to be like the same thing in Finance 101 and RSO 101, or is it going to be like other things about campus groups? I think it was my
Who are you directing the question to?
Okay, so RSL 101 is just more so about like registering events and making sure like how to set up like new registrations, making sure like all your histories and documents and things are up to date, while mostly using a campus system. And then finance 101 is more so like purchase requests, and like it's mostly about like deadlines and like making sure you know the specific deadlines and specific things you need to do for certain vendors and certain requests. And they do kind of show like your payment requests by being able to what Jackson mentioned earlier and make it easy to like forget that afterwards. But that's the main difference, just like using the campus Group site as an RSO versus the bus computers and using
Alrighty. Do you have any other speakers? Because otherwise the caucus is going to end in about 30 seconds. We could also motion to end it sooner. Oh, you can't motion. Wait, brief question. Can exec motion to do things?
No, it wasn't my motion.
Oh.
I was just gonna say that I like the idea of having it here system in context.
Okay, cool. So that was another point. Beautiful. Nathan.
I was just curious, looking at the memo, Obi, if you could talk a little bit. So there's 127 grand that remains for the spring. Has all of that been allocated? And if not, what are the intentions for that? I guess field to Obi.
it's kind of, we're at 118,000 right now. 120 right now.
It
So
is unallocated.
no, allocated.
Okay.
120 has been allocated, but since we haven't like put everything in our internal transfers yet, it's with the groups, but it hasn't, all of it hasn't been through our pockets yet, which is a little weird, like limbo. But
Obi, you can yield to Karen.
Also, like, there's like a handful of resources that have been allocated for, so all the funds have been released for allocated. And, we're gonna go back and try to see if we can balance some of the other buckets with the other buckets, because I think towards the end, we will come up with some of the other balances, so. And then when we get the exact amount that we're going to pop it also. Because we still don't know the exact amount that we're going to pop.
10-second warning.
Thank you.
Alrighty, the caucus has now expired. If anybody would like to motion to extend, you can. Motion for anything else, you can, because otherwise we're just going to go ahead and move on. Alright, thank you, Obi, for that wonderful finance briefing and keeping us up to date on things in the finance world. Next thing we have is a J Games event report presented by President Cho. So, Ryan, you can go ahead and take it away. You have about 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure. I'll share a little bit about J Games, which I'm sure most of you have heard about. But before then, I'd like to point out that it was incredibly impressive how our Game Masters, John and Taya, and the entire council was able to pull off such a big event in such a short amount of time with minimal experience. So, round of applause for that. Okay, but just in terms of event details, J Games was a 3-hour production of the show Squid Games. We took 100 first-year students and made them play 6 games: red light, green light, the cookie, like the carving the cookie with the needle game, tug of war, picking up beans with chopsticks, tag, and then for a final, musical chairs. And we basically cut it down to one person.
Who won?
Oh.
Never mind.
It was one of 2 twins. They were head to head.
Oh, okay, we'll get into that.
On site, we had our class council, 10 plus volunteers, and photographers, Will Kirk and Cameron Dunn, who is with SGA. In terms of funds, 1,700, well, rounds to 18, but mostly to purchase prizes, as the game, as the show works, and some on-site resources and miscellaneous supplies. In total, though, we got approximately 90 live players, 50 live spectators, and countless people following our live stream. So I'd say, in general, everybody agrees that it was a very solid event. In terms of constructive criticism, there were some notes about like game bounds and refereeing, but they were generally pretty minor. So what would we have changed? I think most of this we've already adjusted for this semester, but more class council involvement in early high-level planning, more like low-level detailed planning, and more free merge, which, you know, is how things work. As far as additional notes, it may be good to walk the class of 26, their class council when it becomes time, through like the forms and processes, just because it's something that took us a while to explore and figure out, and like just like in general explain like how event planning kind of works. If you're in the doc, I did attach two samples of work. The first one is a recruitment poster by John, just to show you what that looked like. And then the second is a compilation of photos by Will Kirk of the event. You can see the tug of war, red light, green light, the cookie game. In the middle there's the chopstick game. And yeah, that's all I'll say.
Alright, do we have motions for anything? I recommend a motion for a moderated caucus because I want to talk. I recognize you both. Great, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? No? Alrighty, we're now in a 5-minute moderated caucus with 30-second speaking time. Suba's first, I'm second, Jackson's third. Go ahead, Suba.
This was really cool.
Yeah! Great takeaway. You yield your time? Yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say. You guys did great. Shout out to John for the art and that poster. That's really cool. And us upperclassmen were talking about the J Games event and that we were jealous that we didn't have something going on like that. So that's mad impressive for freshman class council. I remember freshman year when I was elected, we were elected in October and I hosted a haunted house in the multipurpose room at the end of October and it like killed me. Like I literally ended up in the hospital, kind of killed me because I overworked myself. So mad respect. You guys seem to have a really good balance there, and just like I'm proud of y'all for being able to pull off such a good event and getting it all together and having so many people talking about it and such good advertising and such good prizes. I am going to yield the last 30 seconds of my time to Kaya to talk about the winner and the twin situation because that seems interesting.
So obviously at first we had 10 teams, but as we got down to the final round, people didn't know the original teams they had, which team came up on top, went head to head in a game of musical chairs, and the last two players were twins.
Bold. Love that. All good. All right, Jackson, you're next.
I just wanted to say again, like, how much like work that Kaya and Don put into this. Like, they're not even gonna say like how much work they put into it. Like every time I'd run into them, they were working on like J Game stuff. Like literally throughout like 2-3 weeks. Like it was insane. Like they deserve another round of applause. The second thing that I want to say is kind of going back to something that Ryan said about it, is that we figured out that probably the best way to do like class events that are really like class events, the strongest way that you can really like do something that integrates your class into it is to have people from your class actually work on the project. So it's not just SGA that's kind of like putting their like, putting something together for the class, it's rather the class is putting together something for the class. So we actually had volunteers that worked with us on the project, but we kind of integrated them a little too late, I feel like, because sometimes they didn't understand that, like, we had one issue where, like, they weren't supposed to be given, like, all the directions, because that was part of the thing in Squid Game was, you know, you don't know what the next event's going to be. But we kind of, like, accidentally leaked it. But what we found out was that if we can integrate, like, volunteers into our class events, and I know I'm way over time, our like volunteers into class events better from like that class, like people that just want to be involved in something that's cool for class of 2025 or another class if someone else wants to take this idea for their class council. I feel like you can do a better job of showing not only is like SGA doing stuff for their class, but like we're, you know, we want to have fun. Like this is a good way to just get involved at Hopkins.
Anybody else want to be added to the speakers list, or can I get a motion to end? Talia.
How did you guys get volunteers for your class?
Who are you directing that to?
I don't know.
I will specifically direct it to, we're going to say Ryan, has to be the person, so will you say you yield your time to Ryan? You're president, okay? Okay.
Sure.
And then you can yield to someone else as needed.
It was mostly through personal connections, but in general, you can also recruit via email or social media.
Did we say that?
Yeah.
Yield your time.
Yeah, sure. I yield my time.
Wait, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I used a bunch of GroupMe's to promote our events with volunteers, and I think we also
10-second warning.
We also posted things on our story looking for volunteers as well.
And people reached out because they were interested.
And speaking of that, when I did the haunted house event, I also had a lot of volunteers, and I've also reached out through GroupMe's and that kind of thing. So we had volunteer actors, volunteers for setup, volunteers for cleanup, and volunteers for security who would run through. And I know working with the sophomores on their garden party, we've got a lot of volunteers on our planning committee. So also highly recommend that. Nasreen is next, and you will be our last speaker.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think Ryan is not addressing the social media factor in getting because his Instagram stories were the reason why people were reaching out to me asking if J Games was happening and how could they find out more information from that. And I think John did a good job creating the animosity towards J Games, which is why people were coming to us asking.
Are you sure animosity is the point of information?
You made it this like mysterious thing where they didn't announce anything.
Oh, okay.
Like volunteers needed, but we couldn't tell volunteers things. So people were curious as to what they were volunteering for.
Also, Jade should free stuff. If you DM them, they'll post it.
I'm also friends with the person who runs it, so if you need something posted, I can text it to him. Alrighty, that is all of the time that we have for our moderated caucus, so I can get a motion to extend, or we can let it die and move on to the next thing. Maybe like 5 seconds. Alright, we'll let it die. Congrats to the freshmen for a successful event. Y'all killed it. Heck yeah. Alrighty, so also, good job in the event report. That was the first one that I haven't done. So that's what a good event report is. We're going to move on to the Disability Caucus Chair confirmations. I don't want to mess this up because I forgot how we did it properly last time already. So I'm going to do a brief overview of the Disability Caucus, and then I'll take any nominations for chair, and then they will accept the nomination. After they accept the nomination, they will give a short discussion of why they think they would make a good chair, and then we will go ahead and move into voting procedure. I think that is how it works. Carolyn, point of order. Did I cover that correctly? Did I miss anything? Okay, we're going to give a brief overview of the Disability Caucus, take nominations. The person who's nominated will then accept their nomination or decline it. They'll give a short speech saying why they should or should not be chair, and then we'll move into voting. Okay, just making sure I had that right. Disability Caucus. It's a new thing. We already learned about it when we passed the bill that created it. And I know that there's a lot of hype about it. I think your chat has like over 20 members, and you had like 14, 15 people come to the initial meeting, which is great for the caucuses. Y'all are doing good work. Would anybody like to nominate someone for a position? Nathan?
I nominate Harvey.
Oh, wow. So unexpected. Harvey, do you accept your nomination?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations? We'll give it like 5 seconds. All right, Harvey, you can go ahead, stand up, and give a short little speech. You can go up to 5 minutes, I think, about why you think you would make a good chair for the Disability Caucus and why they should vote for you.
Sure. Fun thing. Hi everyone, I'm Harvey. I'm disabled, but I'm in the Disability Caucus. Why would I make a good chair? So I've been doing a lot of disability advocacy work. Like, I think the first thing I did was when I was 14 and I worked with the Epilepsy Foundation. So it's kind of like been a lifelong thing. Well, literally a lifelong thing for me, I suppose. Hey man, honesty is the best policy. It's fun. But also at our first meeting, I was already accepted in that one. So I think that by being the chair here, it's following the will of the people. And I also really like democracy, so that makes sense.
Hell yeah. Democracy.
So between the two, I think that this is a really good use of my skill set. If anyone has any problems with that, then like speak up. Otherwise, best of luck to my imaginary opponent.
Alrighty, beautiful. Thank you for that wonderful speech. We are now going to take any motions. Kobe, I recognize you. Can I get a second? Second. All in favor of moving into voting procedure, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty, we are now in voting procedure. All in favor of confirming Harvey as the Disability Caucus Chair, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Yay, Hubby! You're on the Disability Caucus. Alright, staying on the topic of the Disability Caucus, we're now going to go ahead and confirm the Disability Caucus Rules Bill. This is something that was put into the general... Oh, Vice Chair? I only saw Chair on the agenda. After we do the rules confirmation, will you do a motion to add a new item to the agenda and we'll add Vice Chair confirmation? It says Chair and I can't change it now because it's on the agenda.
Motion to nominate a vice chair.
Yeah, so motion to add that to the agenda. Let me go ahead and add it right here. So I'm very much trying to follow Robert's rules and the bylaws and everything. So if I seem like I'm being a stickler or annoying, I'm sorry. Alrighty. Our next item is the...
So the motion has to be acknowledged and then voted on before you make the change.
The motion to add a new item to the agenda?
Yeah, there was only a motion, but there was no confirmation that that was going to happen.
Alrighty. In that case, I recognize your motion. Can I get a second for the motion to add an item?
Second.
Beautiful. All in favor of adding this item?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Beautiful. That item is added. My laptop auto-corrected to confirmation. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and repeat the whole process. I'm not going to cover the election process. You guys know the Disability Caucus Chair. Disability Caucus Vice Chair does. They're the assistants to the chair, basically. Help them with all things related to that matter. Do I have any nominations for that position? Ireland?
I nominate Elena.
Alrighty, Elena, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Alrighty, any other nominations? Jackson?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Alright, Jackson has been nominated. Do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
I'm double checking.
Jackson hasn't been approved by the Disability Caucus.
Dun dun dun. Okay. Brief consult with Carolyn to prove that you do in fact have to be confirmed. Go ahead.
The, whatever it says in the bylaws, which I
It's
will.
in the Disability Caucus rules bill that they have to be approved.
Does the
Not been,
Has it been passed yet?
it has not.
It was in the
It was in the original writing of the caucus bill, not the rules bill. So the original language of the establishment of the caucus says that you have to be approved before being nominated for vice chair. I'm pretty sure. Does that conflict with anything in the bylaws?
No.
I don't
but
think it
that's-
does.
But that's what has to be followed if that's what's in place right now.
Okay. In that case, Jackson, would you mind rescinding your nomination because it does not work?
Yep, that's fine.
Alrighty, beautiful. So in that case, Elena is the only nomination on the board. Would anybody else like to be nominated or nominate someone for the vice chair position that has been talked to about the Disability Caucus? No? Alrighty, Elena, would you like to stand up and give a short speech about why you think you would make a good vice chair for this caucus?
Alright. I'm also disabled.
Yeah, starting strong.
I have not been working on disability advocacy since 14 since I just found out about my disabilities about a year ago. But I've been very involved since then, and I did write legislation for the Disability Caucus and chaired our last meeting. And I also think that the responsibilities of vice chair fall pretty closely with my responsibilities as executive secretary. So I think that I would be a good fit for this role.
Alrighty, beautiful. Can I get a motion for something?
Motion to vote.
second.
I recognize over there, I recognize the second. We are now all in favor of moving into voting procedure. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are now in voting procedure. All in favor of confirming Elena to the position of vice chair for the Disability Caucus, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty. Yay, Elena, you're vice chair. Beautiful. And now we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, unless someone would like to motion to add something before this. Otherwise, we can motion to add something after this. Or not motion anything at all, which is the Disability Caucus Rules Bill. If you haven't had a chance to review it, which you all should have, you can go ahead and open it. It's not super long, and also the font is big, which is nice, and there's some pretty pictures up top. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to the new chair to discuss what is in the Rules Bill. You have 5 minutes.
I mean, there isn't really much to add on. We already kind of inadvertently went over the intricacies of the rules bill a few seconds ago. That was pretty solid implementation of that. Basically everything in the rules bill was already introduced in the original founding of the caucus when we had that last meeting. Again, just to get it off. This was something that was approved in our first meeting, so it has the full support of all of the voting members of our caucus. I suppose one thing worth mentioning is that, per the caucus rules, really the voting members are all SGA members. This isn't an issue where it's going to be non-SGA members speaking on behalf of the student body. Everyone in it with that capacity is elected. So overall, it's a pretty simple and clear-cut explanation of what we're attempting to do, and that's give the disabled community a better voice, because for a lot of us, that's really, really hard. So if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, always happy to take those. But overall, it's a pretty clear-cut example of just bureaucratic logistics supporting what we're trying to do here.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing the Disability Caucus Rules Bill, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty, the Disability Caucus Rules Bill has been passed. We are now reaching the end of new business. Kobe?
Motion to add committee chair.
Student Services?
Student Services.
Committee Chair nomination? Man, I wonder where that suggestion came from.
Second.
All in favor of adding Student Services Committee Chair confirmations to the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alright, this item has been added to the agenda. I'm going to really quickly type it in there. Sorry. Alright, so Peter and I finally got a time scheduled for the Student Services Committee Chair confirmation meeting. So according to the bylaws, we are a little late. We were in violation of the bylaws for a little bit, but we got it resolved. It was just a time conflict. But the vice chair will act as the chair until elections can be held. And in that case, election procedure happens within the student services group. So long as somebody's been on there, there's not really any other stipulations to voting. When going through, we had 3 people nominated. 1 person chose to accept their nomination. Actually, 2 people chose to accept their nomination, but one of them said, I have no time for this, please vote for the other person. So, nice to heart. The person that did end up winning was Jenny. So Jenny will be the new Student Services Chair if everybody in the Senate approves her for today. You guys keep clapping too soon for this. You gotta approve her. So can I get? Oh man, 1 second. Let me make sure I'm following procedure. Okay. Okay. Point of order to Carolyn. I can just get a motion to confirm them as chair. They don't have to be nominated within SGA. We're just presenting our nomination from Student Services, and Senate confirms that nomination, correct? This one's a little different from the disability one, and I read the bylaws, but that was like 2 weeks ago. Is that is that okay? Point. Look, pause for 1 second, and we're gonna pull up bylaws. I believe it just says has to be approved by the Senate, and it doesn't have the specific language as of the last time I read it. This is for committee, yeah. So it would be motion to approve committee chair nomination. Okay, so can I get a motion to move into voting procedure?
Second.
That was beautiful. Can I get a second? All in favor of moving into voting procedure, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are now in voting procedure. All in favor of confirming Jenny as the Student Services Chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Congrats, Jenny. Now we can clap. Yay! 3 rounds of applause. Beautiful. I just have to put my name here. What am I? Alrighty, so now we can go ahead and move on to prospective business unless anybody has any. Dollar.
Motion to add the SGA February funding bill to the agenda. Yes.
Pause. What you have to send that to me before you add it. Mehek did. Finance, did you pass that?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. Can somebody send me the link for that and then we'll vote on it? I just have to like actually have the link. It's in the finance. Am I in the finance? I am. There we go. SGA tabling funding bill, is that the one we're talking about? Alrighty. Can I get a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor of adding the SGA tabling funding bill to the agenda under new business, please say aye. Any opposed? Wait, I'm messing this up. I have to move into voting procedure, I think. Wait, I just totally forgot how I do this.
24 behind you, Dr.
Okay, cool. Any opposed? Any abstentions? This has now been added to the agenda. Who will be presenting this, seeing as Mehak is not here and it's a bill, so she can't present? Dahlhart? Okay, I yield my time to Dahlhart. You can go ahead and give a brief 5-minute overview of this bill.
Okay, this is just kind of like a typical bill for what we're buying for the February funding event. So we kind of just talked about what kind of stuff we want to do. So from an approved vendor, we have tumblers, which will have like the SGA logo on them. So we'll order 100 of those, as well as a 5-pound box of candy from Amazon and Blue Jay plushies to hand out. And I believe when you said earlier, I thought it was February 24th for the tabling, February 25th for the tabling event from 10 to 2. The total for this bill is $694.99 for these 3 types of merchandise for the table. Yes, that's it.
You finished with your time? Alrighty. Do we have a motion for a moderated caucus, Q&A, straight to voting procedure? Pritika. Can I get a second?
Point of order, could we put the bill on the screen before we vote on it, please?
Everybody should be able to pull up. We were having some issues with the live stream and it blocking the screen, but I will. Once I'm done with the point of order, we're going back to recognizing that because that's the proper how to do things. Okay. Can everybody see? No? No. The answer is no. Give 1 second. This laptop takes a little bit.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay. Everybody sees this? Okay, so technically we are still under the motion to vote, and I can't recognize anything new as long as there's a motion to vote. So the way we get past this is either by passing the motion to vote and moving into voting procedure, or we can vote no on the moving into voting to procedure in order to clear the floor and allow for other votes, or the original person can withdraw it, whatever we want to do. So give one.
Change the what? Seal?
You want?
Okay, I guess I can take that.
All right, with that motion has been withdrawn from the floor. Can I recognize another motion? Kobe.
Friendly amendment, we change the seal to the new.
I motion to friendly amend. The writer of the bill, do you accept the friendly amendment or is it going to be unfriendly?
I accept the friendly amendment.
Alrighty, so before this bill passes, that's in its final form, we need to change the seal to new. Wow, that was really quick. Okay, hey, that was a really nice friendly amendment we have there. Are there any other motions? Would we like to have any discussion on this bill? Because it's a chunk of money, or we want to move into voting procedure? It's up to you guys.
Point of information, that link on here, I think it's broken. Is it just me?
It's
Wait, the link is broken?
The link for the tumblers, okay, it's, I don't know what it is with the website, so they were like the cheapest approved vendor for tumblers. If you like go and then they go home and you just have to like search the specific item for some reason if you want to look for them, you just hit like the Roadmaster, which is the brand. But they'll show up if you do that. I don't know why, I couldn't get the link to work, I was trying earlier.
We're all doing that right now. Okay.
The Roadmaster is just like the first.
I see there. Beautiful. Okay. Any other motions on the floor? Jackson?
I guess, just a point of information. It says the items included in the tabling event will be given out to the student body for free. By free, do we mean asking questions of them, or like, is it just gonna be like first come, first serve, or should that language be formalized at all? Or can it just be as it says?
Personally, for free beans, they don't have to pay for it. Usually it doesn't provide any other stipulations, but if the writers of the bill would like to clarify further, you are now able to do so.
Yeah, that would be some questions, not just anything else, like the testing.
Okay, beautiful.
Motion
Also, did this just get like...
Pritika?
Second.
All in favor of moving into voting procedure?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alrighty, the SGA tabling funding bill thing has now passed. I don't know why I couldn't say the words for that. So now we've reached the end of new business, unless anyone else would like to add an agenda item for new business. The reason we've had so many is because I stopped after Monday at about noon taking new agenda items. So if you have a Monday afternoon, I don't know what that beeping is. Elena doesn't know either. Okay. Then it will be motion to add like this as long as it is passed through committee or has approved or has gone through me to be approved to put on the agenda as a vice president waives the committee requirement. So that's why we're having so many today for clarification. Also, we covered a lot. So we're now on prospective business. To start, does anyone have any advancing legislation for next week? Nathan.
This isn't exactly legislation, but we're probably going to have some period of time set aside in next GBM to talk about organizational, how we structure our recognition of student organizations as an SGM. So just kind of a heads up, we're gonna try to come prepared with some potential metrics we're looking at on Monday, and then hopefully have stuff for next Tuesday.
Alrighty, and sometime in the next few months we will be having a closed session, and I will tell you guys more about what that entails when we are not live streaming it. But it's nothing bad at all. It's just something that doesn't concern the rest of the student body that we are helping people with. That was so vague and cryptic. I'll tell you guys after we stop the live stream. So look out for that. And all of our confirmations have been confirmed. There may, knock on wood, be PRDC confirmations because I started getting email responses again, which is great. So whoever told me that their friend applied, I saw their email. I will be emailing them within the next week before next GBM. So look out for PRDC confirmations. Any other advancing legislation? Beta.
If you met with me last week about the deans submitting on undergrad stuff, then meet with me one more time after GBM right now, just because they're new committees that have opened up, and we'll kind of figure stuff out from there.
Great, Talia.
We're gonna have the new senator confirmation.
Oh, behind the scenes. Okay, I see you. Any other advancing legislation? All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to announcements. I will start. Happy Blue Jay Tuesday. I see a lot of blue out there. I don't think it was on purpose. But shout out to you guys anyways. Personal updates on my end. The ice rink is open until February 27th. I would like to have a very unofficial SGA Goes ice skating thing. Probably the last Tuesday that it's open, because I'm not working then and I can ice skate with you guys because normally I would be working then. So look out for that message. It'll be in the Teams. I can help you guys register and do that kind of fun stuff. It'll be a nice little moment. Also, oh crap, I forgot my other one. I'm terrible at remembering these. I hope classes are going okay for everyone. Remember to stay COVID safe. If you are not getting tested, please get tested because we don't want you to have COVID and come here. If you have exposure, it's better to be safe than sorry. Get your negative test first, etc., etc. And as always, if you guys need any help from SGA, whether it be a medical leave of absence or an emergency leave or anything like that, we are here for you. Come reach out to us, etc., etc. Does anybody have any other announcements? Because we have one more thing we got to do before we end today. No announcements? Okay, we're now going to do the nominations for Best Dressed. I can go ahead and start us off. Grace, you can stand up. I liked your outfit today. I think you should win. Woo! Alrighty, do you accept your nomination for the Best Dressed for the 17th Senate meeting of this school year?
Yes.
Alrighty, do we have any other nominations for people to be Best Dressed?
I nominate Naz.
Naz, stand up. Beautiful. Very comfortable fit. Do you accept your nomination?
I kindly decline.
Kindly decline. Okay, do we have any other nominations for Best Dressed? Talia.
I nominate
Shalala, stand up. The colors to fit. Beautiful. Do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Obi.
I nominate John.
John, stand up. I like the sweater moment, the two tones. We are killing it. Do you accept your nomination?
No.
Oh, come on. That was even a nice one. Nathan.
I nominate John again.
You can't renominate after they've declined. I apologize.
Point to Robert's rules. Point of order.
I need to declare winner.
This isn't following necessarily Robert's rules. This is following our work structure.
You suspended the rules, therefore I nominate John.
No, these are Brianna rules. No, we'll leave poor John alone. Are there any other nominations? Harvey.
I nominate Nathan.
Karma! Nathan, stand up. Everyone appreciate the outfit. I will say, Nathan said, look, I wonder if I'll get nominated today, earlier when we were in office hours.
I did.
Do you accept your nomination?
You know what? I do. Because
Okay. Any other nominations? Grace.
I nominate Veda.
Veda, stand up. Stand up. You guys are kind of matching. One sec. Veda, do you accept your nomination?
No.
Okay, beautiful. John.
Can I nominate our president, Ryan?
Yes, you can. Why is everyone wearing a dark blue sweatshirt today? What is with the fits? Do you accept your nomination?
Sure, why not?
Okay, go ahead and sit. Beautiful. Jackson.
I'd like to nominate Kaya.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, this is an actual thing.
Decline.
Okay, beautiful. Do we have any other nominations? Shalala.
I nominate Rachel.
Rachel, stand up. We're applauding. Rachel, do you accept your nomination? Okay, wait, I should have been keeping track of these. Pause for one moment. Point of order. I'm gonna really quickly actually start keeping track of these. If you have been nominated and you accepted your nomination, please raise your hand. You did? Oh, never mind. Elena's great. We love Elena.
We should do this after public input.
We said no when we passed the bill for it. We said it happens during perspective. This is happening right now. Nathan.
Motion to, or wait. I nominate Elena because,
Elena is in her business casual fit today, and also we're kind of matching. So, Elena, do you accept your nomination? Beautiful. Do we have any other? Harvey.
I nominate Raj.
Raj, stand up. Raj, stand up. I haven't concluded the nomination period, but I will soon. Yay, do you accept your nomination? Another guy wearing blue. How revolutionary. Okay, go ahead and sit. Ireland.
Oh, Brianna, I thought you were looking real cute today.
I've been waiting for it. Now we're done with nominations. I accept my nomination, but this is also, I am wearing a dress with a sweater on top of it and a corset on top of that because I didn't do my laundry. So, I could do better. I do accept though. Last call for nominations. Beautiful. Motion to vote. If you have been nominated and accepted your nomination, we're going to make this easy and stand up so that we can see everyone because there was a lot.
Can I make a speech?
No! Point of order, decline. If you have been nominated and accepted your nomination, please stand up at this time. Please stand.
Come on.
Okay. Stay standing. We did the head down, raise your hand thing, right? Yes. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and have everyone close your eyes. We're gonna do the straw poll hand vote. Keep standing. I don't remember everyone. Keep standing. Otherwise, close your eyes. Everyone, please close your eyes. Head down if you can. If you would like to cast your vote for Elena, please raise your hand. Veda, close your eyes. Beautiful. Alrighty, if you would like to cast your vote for Rachel, please raise your hand. Charnette, close your eyes. Alrighty, if you would like to cast your vote for Grace, please raise your hand. Suba, close your eyes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Okay, if you would like to cast your vote for Nathan, please raise your hand. If you would like to cast your vote for Shalala, please raise your hand. Great. If you would like to cast your vote for Ryan, please raise your hand. Very passionate response. If you would like to, Harvey, close your eyes. If you would like to cast your vote for me, please raise your hand. Thank you. I appreciate it. Alrighty, you guys can all open your eyes. Our best dressed winner for today is, drumroll, Grace! Yay! Killing it with the fit! Okay. And we are keeping track of that, and at the end of the year, we'll do whatever the thing we said we would do. We are going to go ahead and move on to public input unless anyone else has any other announcements. Going once, going twice. Public input. Do we have a member of the public here? What? Yes. Go for it.
Oh, I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. You just wanted to let us know you were here. One second. Any other members of the public want to talk? You don't have to. Okay.
Point of information. Are the votes public information? Like, can I shame people?
To share the votes for this?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Let me check the language. The language might have said anonymous. If so, I just know it said straw poll. I'll check. I'll get back to you next week. Alrighty. Can I get? I didn't recognize.
Motion to close the meeting.
I recognize. Second. All in favor of ending the meeting, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Congrats. Woo! Okay. I am.
freshman class council meeting.
Let me stop the live stream before you do that. Elena, how do I stop the live stream? I stopped it. It stopped. There's no more live stream. But like actually. Oh. I'm a fan of my new technique of speeding through GBM. I like that it goes fast. Yeah, I was literally staring at Jackson and pointing at myself. Jackson! Okay, I realized that I was messaging in Discord to ask you because I don't have your number. And I was like, God, why is he answering?
No, it's pretty uncomfortable. Listen, guys, you're pretty shy.
I know, I need to.
And then you looked, I was like,